Well, hi folks, here we are, June 30th, another sunny day on Vancouver Island. Really windy though, so, but it's still all in all a nice day. You know, the craziest thing about being on the island, the worst day weather-wise, is still a great place to be. If you haven't been on the island, it's worth a visit. If you're looking to move somewhere special, it's worth a visit. You know, we're probably bigger than Great Britain, almost as big as Japan on the island. And there's less than 1 million people live on the island. And I'm in about the geographical center on the east side. And south of here is where 75% of the population live. From here north, maybe 25. So it just got lots of room. Just you're not trampled by people, and for the most part, people are pretty cool on the island. Well, we have people protesting here and there. Victoria, the big city, the capital of British Columbia, actually, they have some clowns there as well. But up here, it's pretty decent. Let's say I was noticing a newspaper had put, you see a report, this newspaper had put a tear-out paper flag through its center. So if people didn't have a Canadian flag for celebrations tomorrow, they could grab this paper one. And I realize some people are skint, so that this is a cool gesture. But I think anybody who wants to hang a flag should just get a real silk or cloth flag. Looks cool. But anyway, they had a sort of a lead-in into this. They're apologizing to people who don't look at the flag in the same way for having the flag there. And I'm thinking, whoa, what the hell were you apologizing for the Canadian flag for? You know, if somebody who is living here, who just doesn't like the flag, just doesn't like all that stuff, the beauty of North America is that you're free to move. There's nothing's holding you back. You're free to move. And why are we apologizing for having a Canadian flag? Whoever made that apology, it would be really neat to meet him and kick him in the ass. Give him a good kick, maybe get his brains in gear. Because that's where they're probably residing. And it's just another annoying thing that this politically correct left-wing idiotic nutcases are doing. It's like apologizing for saying Merry Christmas to somebody. You're not supposed to call it Christmas, you're supposed to call it holidays. Apologizing for their religion. And I refuse to do that. And I don't expect anybody else to apologize for their religion that might be different than mine. As long as they're not trying to shove it down my throat. When the East Indians are having their holidays, I don't mind them putting their posters and banners up or ads in the paper that Dhaliwal's coming and all this sort of thing. It's interesting. We're a funny bunch. We're a totally funny bunch. Politically correct and crazy. I see some people are complaining about the peaceful march that had guns pulled on it. Down in, I think it was in St. Louis. Interesting. It was a peaceful march, all right. Broke the gates. I did watch the video, and go trying to harass homeowners and private property. And I thought that was apropos. You know, that's why these left-leaning communist-type politicians want to have people not to have guns. If you have guns, they got to think twice before they be stupid. And Canada the same way. I mean, our Prime Minister off his doorstep is doing all kinds of shit like that to take guns away from legal owners. And the case always is, well, hey, it's there's loonies up there, and guns kill people. And guns haven't killed one person. It's the idiot pulling the trigger. Mind you, I guess somebody could have been careless and tripped in the ditch, and his or her gun went off and killed themselves. But most people don't do that. I mean, as a kid, I grew up with firearms, And we were, you got training from your parents and the parents' friends, and it was not school like you have today. I mean, it was serious stuff. You realized how deadly these things were and the proper way to use them. So the bottom line of that, again, it's a bleeding hearts, blame an inanimate object, and it's the person behind it, but we're too stupid to take that person off the street and give them some care, because they have rights. The bottom end is it doesn't cost money to do that, so we'd rather just leave them on the street being crazy. So trust you're all getting ready for tomorrow if you're in Canada. A special tip of the hat and a wave to my friend who's going to celebrate her first July 1st as a Canadian citizen. That's got to be awesome for her. And to all of those who live here who think it's crazy, this July 1st idea, this celebrating Canada, saluting your flag. Well, like I said before, if you really aren't in love with this place, if you really don't like it here, there's a simple solution. There's no law saying you cannot leave. And I'm just sort of not being a smart butt about that, but that's just the simple facts. Other than that, that's about all. As always, I'll put a couple of video links in the description below. On BitChute, the video got delayed. It wasn't processed until this morning, so if you're on BitChute watching this, there'll be two back-to-back. But that's another heads up. If you use YouTube and if you use Twitter, well, Facebook is sort of crazy. We have one there and things get shared there, but I'm not a Facebook fan. But it's good. It's worth looking at Parler, Parler.com, and BitChute. I mean, you can't go crazy there. There's guidelines, but I mean, they're not censoring yet, like the other places are censoring. And it's the only thing they really censor is conservative thought. They don't censor too much of the left-wing crap unless it's really out to lunch. What else was I going to that was on my mind this morning? I see that the mayor of Seattle was pissed that the marchers came to her house. I mean, that just goes to show she was bending over backwards for these fools, and there's just no thanks. They just give them an inch and they take another mile. And I think it's time people sort of did what the couple in St. Louis did, protect your own property and stand up to these bullies and clowns. Because that's basically what they are. And for those of you who still believe that they're worried about Black Lives Matter, well, give your head a shake. They don't give a shit about black lives. It's about their Marxist, communist. They want to take over, get rid of our system and put in some lame brain thing that they don't understand. And if they cared about Black Lives Matter, they'd be talking about the people who were all killed in Chicago this past weekend. And I think it was a 20-month-old baby this time as well, a 10-year-old girl. These are people in a vehicle or in their homes. It's crazy, but nobody's mentioning that. And our parrots with microphones on CNN, CBC, CTV, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, they're not talking about it either. When you don't expect them to. Although they are talking about getting rid of that vitamin D3 could be harmful for you. You got to think about this. I mean, there's enough common sense out there, enough testing now to show you that vitamin D3 is essential for your immune system and for other things going on in your body. Vitamin C as well. And of course, the powers that be don't want people being that healthy. They want you to be sick so they can sell you more drugs. And we're saying defund the police, defund the cops, but hey, next time your doctor's giving you a prescription, ask them why. You know, I've had doctors tell me, well, I said, what's this going to do? What is it? What is this? He said, I'm not really sure, but I said, well, if you're not really sure, why would I take it? I'll tell you why. Because the pharmaceutical company owns the medical profession. I mean, they fund, a lot of funding goes into the universities. And those same psychopaths have a hand in our media. You just got to unpeel the onion, wind everything back, And I mentioned it before, but I mentioned this again because we're celebrating Canada. We should be celebrating it every day, like we should be celebrating life and mothers and children. We shouldn't just have one day. We should be celebrating that every day. But this is symbolic. And all countries, I suppose, do that. Have a day that is the day of their special for their founding. So I'm saying that because if we don't really stand up and start acting like responsible human beings, like intelligent adults, we're going to be losing what we have. I mean, it's eroding away. I mean, they started with going after your family, going after your religion, going after your vocabulary, and just because a prime minister sits on the bottom of his steps and tells you this is that and this is that, they're not always being upfront with you. What do they say? What's that old saying? If you're not a liberal when you're under 25, you don't have a heart. But if you're a liberal when you're over 25, you don't have any brains. And that's sort of apropos. Although a lot of the people who are marching are not, they're over 25. And should know better than to sort of lead our young people astray. But I guess that's all for now. We'll be back tomorrow and have a happy and safe July 1st tomorrow and a pre-Canada Day evening. Just be careful out there. Take care and bye for now.